Hey, house guests! Welcome to today's Big Brother 27 updates and spoilers. I hope you're ready for a roller coaster ride. I I have no words for the last, I don't know, 48 hours, less than 48 hours. Like it's 1.5 days. My brain is scrambled. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Hey, Maria. Maria says she's looking forward to the update today. It's gonna be nuts. We have a lot to talk about. Christine says she thought she missed it. I know we're a little late today because it was a lot to get through, and it's gonna be worth it. I promise you that. But let's get into it. Our house guests of the day, we have Miguel Gonzalez, who was requested by Joshua Martin. Thank you both so much. We have Nancy Cowden, aka Darby C, and she also requested Brandon Bogus. So thank you both so much. And we have Carter B, his wife Cami, and their adorable pup. I'm not sure if it's pronounced Beba or Beba or, but in any case, your dog is so precious. And thank you all so much for supporting the channel and for watching with us this season. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, just send us an email to madrosed@gmail.com and we will get you on the list. Just make sure you put house guest of the day in the subject line so we can find you. This is so flat today. It's killing me. But anyway, when we left off the other day, I hate this. When we left off the other day, the house guests were waiting for the veto competition to start. And it was a very late start. They hadn't even picked players until mid-afternoon. So just to recap the players, we have Vince the HOH. We have the 3 nominees, Mickey, Ava, and Kelly. Kelly got house guest choice, and she chose Keanu to play. And then the last extra player was Will. So Vince, can you guys turn? I think my family is watching the stream in the other room, and it's a little bit. Can you guys turn it down a little bit because I can hear it? But Vince was already losing his mind at the thought of potentially having to put somebody else up as arena. Like he's losing it, and it didn't help that the competition happened so late in the day because it was just more and more time for him to think about everything. And he was being pressured by both sides of the house before the competition had even been played. It was a lot. So the feeds finally went down for the competition from about 7 p.m. to 10:45 p.m. Big Brother time. And I have to say, when the feeds came back, everyone looked gorgeous. They were all dressed up in formal wear. Everybody, like the costumes this season have been so on point. It's amazing. But we find out that Mickey won the power of veto. Oh boy, this is basically Vince's worst nightmare. Not only is the veto being used, but it's being used by his number one target for the week. And now he has to decide, do I do something kind of lame or do I take a shot at Rachel Riley? What does he do? So Mickey is celebrating with Rachel in the storage room, and Mickey is like, I'm so grateful. Rachel's like, I'm crying. Like, this is meant to be. And Mickey says, this shows our group is supposed to be here. It's been proven time and time again. This is meant to be. So Keanu comes in and he congratulates Mickey. I'm sure he's not happy that Mickey won the veto, but Mickey tells Keanu, I pulled a U because I envisioned myself with the veto around my neck. I played it in my mind over and over again. And now I'm a part of your club, right? I saved myself with the veto. Yay, how fun. So that's like a joyous celebration in the storage room, right? And then cut to Vince, who is already freaking out in the HOH room. He's talking to Morgan, and Morgan's telling him everything's going to be okay. She's like rubbing his back, don't worry. And she says, we're going to do a little damage control. You know, we're going to make sure that you're good with Mickey, and then everything is going to be fine. I promise. We're going to meet with the Judges Alliance. We're going to go through your options. If only, I'd love to see the freaking Judges Alliance meet. Every single alliance this season, they form it, they name it, whatever, hands in, and then they never meet as an alliance to discuss things. So it just falls apart immediately. But Vince is like, will you hang out with me tonight? And it was so sad. But he was like, I need to clear my head a little bit. So Morgan's like, yes, of course, we're going to hang out. That's what she wants, right? She wants to make sure she has Vince's ear so she can push what she wants him to do. So Vince says, I knew I was going to have to do an effing renom. I'm so tired of pissing everyone off. I mean, that's what happens when you have deals with everyone and then you win competitions. Like, if you're going to have deals with everyone, maybe like hang back and don't be winning all these comps where you have to show cards. But no, he has set himself up here and he loves to complain about it as if it's not his fault. But Morgan says, everyone still loves you. You have the judges and me, and Mickey's going to get over it. It's going to be fine. Like, you don't have to worry. So Vince says, I've found myself in so many positions where I'm effing my game and I piss off everyone that I've been cool with the whole time. Because he's been trying to be cool with everybody. But he says, I'm going to be getting so much pressure from everyone. And I'm going to have 4 people telling me to put up either Rachel or Ashley. I'm going to have 4 people telling me to put up Catherine. Yeah, pretty much. The house is split right now. So Morgan asks him, what do you want to do? And it's just like crickets. He doesn't know. He's one of the indecisive twins along with Lauren. So then starts the train of people coming through the HOH room to push their agendas. So Keanu chats with Vince, and Keanu tells him, you cannot put Catherine up. That would be a huge mistake. But Vince is like, what's the alternative? He fears it is too early in this game to be taking a shot at Rachel. He says, I just mended things with her. We've been having great conversations. And he's like, you know what? I know that she's gaming me. I get that for sure. But he says, I've also been trying to game her a little bit too. And now, like, that could be coming to an end. He might need to make a move here. But he's like, even if I don't put up Rachel, he says it'd still be good if I put up Ashley. But if I do that, is Rachel going to be just as mad? Yeah, she is. And Rachel had told Keanu that if Vince puts up Ashley, she's going to go scorched earth. She's going to be so pissed because that's basically a move against her. And Keanu relays this to Vince. So Vince is just like, oh, what am I going to do? Vince says his game is over. It's just so dramatic. So then Keanu says to Vince, if you do not put Catherine up on the block, you will still have 5 people backing you up, looking out for you. You're going to be well insulated. He says you will have me. You're still going to have Morgan. You're going to have Catherine, Lauren, and Kelly. So, like, do what you got to do. Put up Rachel or Ashley, and then you will have us backing you up. Great. Okay, so then Lauren talks to Vince next. And they're talking about the Power Veto competition a little bit because it sounds like Kelly and Keanu both freaking beefed it. Their mistakes helped Mickey eventually win the competition. Because I guess you could like make moves against the other players, and it sounds like they had points. And maybe it was one of those situations where like if you get a certain amount of points, you're out. And I guess Kelly kicked things off by going after Vince, and Vince is like, what the hell? Why would she go for me and not for Mickey? Like, we just needed to make sure Mickey wasn't going to win this competition. So why would she go after me? That's so dumb. And then I guess Keanu had the opportunity to go after Mickey, and he went after Will instead. And it turns out later, Keanu was explaining like, oh, well, I saw what Kelly did, and I didn't want to have to target Mickey. I didn't want to have to do Kelly's dirty work, so that's why I did that. So it was a freaking mess. And it sounds like things could have been different if people were smarter in the veto competition. But anyway, Vince is talking through his options with Lauren. He says, you know, that one side of the house, they're trying to get me to either put up Keanu or Catherine. I'm not putting up Keanu. He's good for me. I'm not putting up Catherine because I don't want to hurt your game. I know you guys are close. I've already done enough to damage your game, especially after you saved me with the veto. So Vince is like, if I put up Rachel, I'm going to have 5 or 6 people coming after me, right? Morgan, Mickey, Will, Ashley, potentially Ava, Rachel herself if she ends up staying. So he says Rachel banded together a crew who have essentially threatened me before the initial nominations, even, and saying, like, if I put up Rachel, I'm going to go home. And he says if I put up Ashley, that's basically going to be the same thing. So hearing all of this, Lauren is like, I really don't like these people. I don't like them. Lauren says not to be mean, but are we all just like idiots? What the hell is happening? We look like idiots right now. And Vince says, well, I mean, yeah. But Vince says they told me that even if I put Rachel up on the block, she's going to have the votes to stay. So have fun pissing off the big bad wolf. So he says, I've been in a terrible position ever since Ava started the trend of putting me on the block. Thanks, Ava. Ava really did break the game open, and I can't thank her enough for that. Even if she just kind of like lays around and sleeps for most of the time, she gave us that, and she really did crack things open. So then he says, Ashley, Will, and Ava, those three are just hanging out. They're coasting by. Just hanging out. Ava changed the trajectory of the whole game, but okay, she's just coasting by. So then Vince is asking, why is Rachel untouchable? No one is going to put her on the block ever? And he's like getting all crazy with it. Like, do we just hand her the check now? Let's just cancel the season. Let's just hand Rachel the $750K and America's fave. Because that's what's going to effing happen, right? He says, show's over, early season. And Lauren's like, I don't get it. Why is it too early to go after Rachel? Now, I have to say, we have seen both Lauren and Vince in positions of power multiple times so far this game. Vince is the HOH this week. Like, why didn't you guys do something about it? If you're all upset, like nobody's doing anything, you have had power so many times, and yet you were afraid to make a big move. But this is on everybody else. So Lauren's asking, why is it too early to go after Rachel? And Vince says, you know, that one side of the house, they're telling me that it's too early because if I put Rachel up on the block, she will still have the numbers to stay. And then the 6 of them are going to come after me and they're going to guarantee that I go. So he says Morgan also is really frustrating me because she's trying to pull me in to work with that side of the house and they want me to do all of their dirty work for them. Now, of course, what he's not telling Lauren is he has agreed to be in an alliance with that side of the house, but he's leaving that part out. So Lauren says, well, that group that wants to keep Rachel around, they need to be broken up this week or they're just going to pick us off one by one. So then Vince lets Lauren know that group has also tried to float her name out as a renom. I mean, we have seen Morgan talk so much crap about Lauren to Vince. So yeah, Morgan has been testing the waters with that, which is crazy because she knows how close Vince is to Lauren. But Vince is like, yeah, they said that you should go because you're so indecisive. And like, do we really want someone so indecisive on the jury? And Lauren is outraged. This is the most emotion that I've seen from her thus far. She's like, what kind of stupid effing bullshit is that? Who told you that? Vince says it was Rachel. Sure. We have seen Morgan talk extensively about how indecisive Lauren is and how much it messes with her game and she doesn't want to work with her. But Lauren's like, what do you mean I'm indecisive? And she's like, I know what that means. I know what indecisive means. Like, what do they think? I'm saying like, oh, I don't know who to vote out. Girl, that's exactly what they're saying. We have seen you. We have been watching. Come on. She's got to know. She's got to know how indecisive she is. Vince is trying to sugarcoat it, being like, no, you like to like get all the information, take it all in, and make an informed decision. That's a very nice way of putting it. But Lauren says, I hate this game. I feel the worst right now that I have this whole time in here. So then Vince starts whining about he's the worst ally and the worst player because his allies should be feeling great when he's HOH. again, that's what happens when you are aligned with basically everybody. No one's going to be happy because you're working with everybody, which means you're working with nobody. So, yeah, you kind of are a bad ally. But Lauren says, well, maybe if I can get Ava's vote, we'll have enough to take out Rachel. We'll get 4. You can break the tie. And let's keep in mind, Ava is on the block right now. So that's assuming that Ava wins the blockbuster competition. But Lauren is not giving up hope that they could potentially get Rachel out still this week. So Kelly is in next to talk to Vince. And Vince has some questions. He's asking her about the veto competition, and he wants to know, why did you pick me in the comp and not Mickey? And before she can answer, Vince starts going through his whole spiel about how he's being threatened that he's going to go home if he doesn't put up Catherine or Keanu as the replacement. So he's like, I guess I'm just going to put up Rachel and then I'll say goodbye to you guys next week. So dramatic. So Kelly explains, actually, it's emo. More than anything, it's freaking emo. So Kelly explains, oh, during the comp, I didn't want it to look like I was only targeting Mickey. So she was like trying to spread that out. And she was like, you put us both up. So like it would make sense for me to target you in the competition as well. I guess Vince was especially upset because he got second place in this comp and he was so close to winning and being able to keep the nominations the same, but he fell short. So anyway, Kelly says, you might not like hearing this, but if I won the veto, I was going to use it on Ava instead of on myself. So Vince is like, the veto? Why? Kelly. And Kelly's like, to be crazy. It's too much. So Vince is like, we are too far in this game to be doing stuff like that. Yeah. So he tells Kelly, if you're in a situation like that, if you have the veto, you need to save yourself. You can't be doing crazy shit like that. So Kelly's like, well, I don't think I have the votes to stay this week, no matter who you put up as the replacement nominee. I basically have to win the blockbuster competition if I'm going to stay. So Kelly is saying, with all that being said, she is pushing for him to make a big move. She says, go big. And if you do end up going out because of it, at least you go out with a splash. She's really wanting him to put Rachel on the block. So Kelly is saying she feels like she has a better chance at beating Ashley in the blockbuster than she would Rachel. However, she doesn't care about that. She's like, I want you to just make the big move. Go for Rachel. Like she hasn't liked Rachel this whole time. So of course she would like to see Rachel go up. So while these two are talking, the clock strikes midnight and we start to hear in the background everyone else singing happy birthday to Lauren. Happy birthday to Lauren. I think it's her 23rd, so good for her. What fun for a super fan to be celebrating their birthday in the Big Brother house. So they hear everybody singing and they're like, oh, that's nice. Like, she's so sweet. Don't go join in or anything. Just like ignore it. It was weird. I don't know. For me, like if you hear somebody singing happy birthday and it's like your really good friend's birthday, wouldn't you go like join in? I don't know. They do go wish her a happy birthday eventually, but like it was just so bizarre to me. So later, Ava's chatting with Vince and Ava says, I have a request. You do not need to fulfill this request, but I just want to put it out there. She says that she would prefer that Catherine does not go up as the replacement nominee. Why? Since when is she so close to Catherine? Why is she doing this? Also, who is she hoping is going to go up? Because, like, she's on the block. Does she want to be up there against Rachel or Ashley? You're supposed to be working with them. I mean, Rachel, for sure, she's working with her, but Ashley somewhat, right? She's had her ups and downs with Ashley. So Ava tells Vince, you could put up Rachel if that's what you really want to do. But she tells him, if you miss, frankly, you are toast, brother. Yeah. And she says, I understand the predicament you're in. You're in a really tough spot right now. But whoever you pick to go up is whoever you pick to go up. And she says, it's your call, dog. Okay. So later, Ashley is talking to the cameras, and I was pretty excited about this because she really gave us some insight into her game and what she's thinking right now. And here are just some highlights from what she was saying. So she says, first of all, she's kind of glad that Mickey won the veto. There have been times where Ashley really wanted Mickey out of here, but for now, she's like, yeah, I think it's good for Mickey to be here as long as Vince puts up Catherine as the replacement nominee. And Ashley says Catherine is really smart. She actually thinks Catherine is a law student. She says Catherine seems to know a lot about law. No, we know that she is not a law student. I will say, I feel like because Catherine majored in PR, she probably did take a communications law course because I took a very similar course, and a lot of the things that I've heard her talk about regarding law is stuff that I heard about in that course. So I'm guessing she took a comm law class, and Ashley's like, oh my God, she must be a law student. Nah, girl, PR. But Ashley says, even though she thinks Catherine's really smart, Kelly has got to be the one to go this week. Because Kelly is all over the place. She's erratic. She doesn't play the game in like a logical way. But Ashley says she feels really good about where she's at in the game right now. She doesn't want to play it too hard. So she feels like she's finding a good balance. She says she does not fully trust Ava right now. She does like her a lot on a personal level, but she feels like Ava might have a side deal with Lauren and Catherine. And maybe that's why she doesn't want Catherine to go up on the block. I don't think she even has a deal with them. We know that Ava has a final two with Lauren that she's like kind of, but not really serious about. She's not that serious about it. But I don't think she has anything official with Catherine. But Ashley feels like Ava is working both sides right now, trying to make sure that she is protected by both sides. And Ashley talks more about how it's really hard pretending to be dumb, but she says it's working. It's worth it. Before she came in here, she studied Elle Woods. She says Elle is likable. She's sweet. She's a little bit slow. And that is really what she's trying to do in this game. What? Like, it's hard? Yeah, so that's what she's going with. And it really is working for her. Nobody seems to suspect that she's a lawyer. But Ashley also reveals that she wants to go to the final three with Rachel and Will. But she's not sure if she would be able to get the votes to beat them. I mean, there's still a lot of game left to be played. Ashley has not really left her mark on the game at this point. Will hasn't really either. But I mean, if either of them are up against Rachel, I feel like Rachel would probably win. Unless this jury is super bitter. But anyway, she also says if Rachel does end up going up on the block, if Vince does the dumb move and puts up Rachel, she says, I am going into Operation Save Rachel mode. She says Rachel is way more valuable to my game than Ava. Rachel is ride or die. She's fun to hang out with. And if I was on the block, she would use the veto on me. And she's a bigger target than me. So if I'm up on the block next to her, I'm not going to go home. People are going to vote out Rachel over me. So she says this is a 3-for-1 special. Got to keep Rachel safe. Okay, so moving on. Morgan was up late with Vince on Saturday night into Sunday morning. She is fully cementing her spot as the first lady of the HOH this week. I mean, she's really putting in the work. So she's reassuring Vince things are going to be okay with Mickey. And I'm going to help you smooth that over. It's going to be fine. She's pushing that the Judges Alliance is real. It's too early to take a shot at Rachel. Don't be doing other people's dirty work, specifically Keanu. And Vince is like, okay, I see what you're saying, but I'm worried that I'm at the bottom of the group, the judges. Like, I'm at the bottom. He's not wrong. He is not wrong. But he's asking, why would I turn my back on the people that I've been cool with for a group that I don't know if I can fully trust? I mean, in my opinion, Vince already made that decision when he voted out Riley. Him deciding to vote with the judges, that was drawing a line in the sand. So for him to like go back on that now would just be Kind of dumb in my opinion. If you were going to go against the judges, you go against them with the Riley vote. You keep Riley to work with you. You don't flip-flop back and forth. Like, I mean, he's already done the deed, right? So Morgan is arguing that Rachel's side, they're not that tight. Like, no, you're not at the bottom. Yeah, he is. But she's also asking, can you really trust Catherine now that you voted out Riley? You don't think she's going to hold a grudge about that? Plus, another point that she kept bringing up over and over again. She says, Lauren voted me out. As much as we love her on a personal level, she voted for me to go. And Vince is like, okay, counterpoint. Rachel voted me out. She was trying to get so many other people to vote me out. And she has been targeting me for weeks. She put me up on the block. I mean, that is true. So Morgan is telling him, okay, but if you take the shot at Rachel and you miss, we are effed. We, me and you, we would both be going up on the block moving forward. So they're going back and forth on this. It's like a circular conversation. They're talking until past 6 a.m. It's like 6:30 a.m. After being up late the night before, they also share multiple lengthy hugs. And there has been some discussion online about how it seems like Morgan is playing a little bit of a flirt man's game here with Vince, trying to really, he's touch starved, right? He's touch starved. So Morgan is trying to do the whole rubbing the back, the long hugs, giving him comfort, because it seems like that really resonates with him. It seems like it's working. And I think that Vince is actually trying to use the same strategy on Morgan. I think they are both trying to do that to each other. And it's a mess. But anyway, yeah, that's that. So there was no decision after all of that on what Vince wants to do. Believe me, we are ways away from a decision from Vince on all that. He says he wants to keep thinking it over. So Sunday morning, Morgan is quickly back to work. It doesn't matter that she only had like 2.5, 3 hours of sleep. Sunday morning, she is filling Will in on her conversation with Vince from the night before. And she's like, Vince is really not sure if he can trust the judges' alliance. He needs to hear that people in our alliance would be willing to take a shot at Rachel after jury starts, right? He needs to hear those words. So Will is like, all right, that's fine. I'm going to talk to Vince. I'm going to reassure him of that. It's going to be great. So Morgan's saying, like, I think that Vince will end up putting Catherine up in the end. So, all right. In other news, Mickey told Ashley that she had a dream the night before with Vince in it. And she said, I can't trust Vince anymore after what happened in the stream. This is just worth mentioning because Mickey was telling Vince before the nominations, the initial nominations, if you put me up, I'm going to haunt your dreams. And now her dreams are being haunted by Vince. Asmodeus. Okay, so Morgan checks in with Vince. She is ready to game. Capital G. She's bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, head clear, ready to go. Hashtag gamer girl. Vince can barely keep his eyes open. He's just like, oh, where am I? So Morgan is pushing, of course, that the judges have to stay together. Do not put Rachel up on the block. And she says, I talked to Will earlier, and he said that he would take a shot at Rachel, but not yet, right? We need a few more weeks working together as an alliance, and then he would be willing to make that shot. And she's, again, hammering home, Catherine should be the one to go up. Why would you keep around someone who would go after your closest ally? And, like, here's the thing. Again, like, the stuff that she's saying makes sense, but also from Vince's viewpoint, like, yeah, she's going after your ally or whatever, but, like, Rachel has been heavily targeting Vince, and it has not been a secret. But Morgan is telling Vince, if you get rid of Catherine, or if you put Catherine up, not even necessarily Catherine leaving, because they want Kelly to go, right? But if Catherine goes up, Keanu is still going to be good with you. He's got nowhere else to go. What is he going to do? He's got to work with somebody. It's not going to be Rachel's group, so you're going to be fine. But Vince is going on and on about how he's going to piss off half the house. And Morgan says, well, one of those people would be going home. It's one less. Okay, so a little later, almost all of the judges meet up in the HOH room. Thank the Lord, finally. So we had Morgan, Vince, Rachel, and Will. We're just missing Ashley, but Ashley is on board with whatever is going to be discussed here. So Rachel and Will are both saying, we just have to stick together for like 3 more weeks. We just have to ride this out for now, make sure we all get to jury, maybe stick together for a week or 2 once we get to jury, and then whatever. Whatever happens, happens. And Vince is telling Rachel in this conversation that he is not putting her up on the block. Oh. So Rachel says, if you do put me up, I'm not going. Just know that. I will win the blockbuster competition. She's putting it out there. Don't F around, because you will find out, just like Lauren did. But Will says, just put up Catherine. Don't make this any harder than it needs to be. Do not make this calculus. So, I mean, good point, right? He's making this super complicated. So the talks continue throughout the afternoon, just as you expect them to go. Rachel's side pushing for Catherine to go up. The other side, Catherine, Lauren, Kelly, Keanu, they are all pushing for Rachel to go up. So just a few other highlights from some of these conversations. When Catherine was talking to Vince, she says Rachel has already won this before. She has played this game 3 times. She is getting a check for being a villain again, and she is just building her brand back up. That's why she's here. Actually, she's here because she actually knows and loves the game. Like, she is here for the love of the game. Something a lot of these other house guests cannot relate to. Also, Rachel is not a villain this season. Not even close. But not anyway. But also, Kelly, when she was talking to Vince, she's talking about how she's on a cleaning strike right now. She's not doing any cleaning, and she's hoping that this would make Rachel want to keep her if she's up on the block against Ashley. What? You really think that Rachel is going to base her game decisions on who's cleaning and who's not? Like, basically saying, Ashley doesn't clean, but I do, so, like, keep me around, but also I'm on a cleaning strike to nail the point home, drive it home. Okay, that will come up again. So anyway, at that point, it was looking like Vince was actually leaning towards putting up Catherine. We're not done yet, though. So we're not done yet. Rachel and Keanu are chatting in the storage room. And Rachel, for some reason, is sharing some information that she got from Vince. She says, oh, Vince was telling me that you want somebody from, like, my group to go up on the block. And he told me that you said you would not personally take a shot at me, but you wouldn't care if Vince does. Oh, Rachel, why are you giving Keanu ammo? Why are you doing this? She has been burned by him multiple times at this point. Why keep telling him stuff? You know what's going to happen. So Keanu, of course, is denying. He's like, no, I've been advocating for you to stay off the block. No. So he says, I just can't believe that Vince would try to throw me under the bus like that. And Rachel's like, I didn't believe it, but I just wanted to let you know. So keep that in your back pocket for later. So meanwhile, Vince is talking to Lauren again. This dude is ruining her birthday right now. He pretty much lets her know that he is leaning towards putting Catherine up on the block. And he's like, this could be a move to help us both get to jury. He's trying to make it sound like he has some potential deal with Rachel to keep the both of them safe, when in reality, it's that Vince is in an alliance with Rachel and her group, and Lauren is not included in that. But he's trying to make it seem like, oh, we're both going to be safe. That group is going to protect both of us if I make this move. So Lauren is not down with this. She says, I'm not usually negative, but today just sucks. She starts crying and she says, I'm so lucky to be here, but I feel like I keep losing people. Do you think she's regretting nominating Adrian yet when she was HOH? Vince says he feels the same way. There are so many things that they could have done differently so far this season. Yeah. Lauren is frustrated that everyone is saying it's too soon to take out Rachel. She says Rachel is going to be the first two-time winner, and we're all going to look like idiots. I'd love to see Rachel be the first two-time winner. I feel like she's doing a great job so far this season. But yeah, Lauren's really going through it. She's crying on her birthday. She's Leslie Gore. It's her party. She'll cry if she wants to. All right. So then Keanu talks to Vince again. And now Keanu is coming out of left field. Keanu is pushing for Will to go up as the replacement. What? Keanu wants Will to go up as the replacement. He says this is basically the alternative option if you don't want to take the shot at Rachel, but we're still taking out a number from the other side. He says this is how we save Kelly. She has a much better chance to win the blockbuster competition. You're still good with Catherine. You're not putting her up. And this is how you upset the least amount of people with us still not losing a number. So Vince is taking this all in. And yes, guess what? Keanu also tattles on Rachel to Vince. He spills all of the stuff that Rachel told him that Vince shared with him, with her. You knew this was coming. You knew it was coming. So Vince and Morgan chat a little bit later, and Vince is pissed. He says, Rachel had asked me earlier if Keanu was dropping her name, trying to get her up on the block, and I was honest with her, and now I'm finding out that she ran what I told her back to Keanu. So Vince says, I've been trying to build trust with her, and then she does that. Why would she do that? Rachel did F up with that. She should not have been sharing that with Keanu. I don't know what she was thinking. But Morgan is like, oh, shit. So Morgan starts bringing out the big guns. She pulls out the M&Ms to go over the numbers, to go over the potential votes. You know it's serious when the M&Ms are coming out again. Oh, my God. So later, Morgan lets Ashley know that Rachel really slipped up. And these two are getting frustrated that Morgan keeps sharing information with Keanu because he has burned her before, and they're talking about how they have been fighting so hard to keep Rachel off the block. And if she ends up on the block as the replacement nominee, it's her own fault, right? She should not have been sharing that info with Keanu. So at this point, Vince is talking to Keanu and Kelly about putting Rachel up on the block as a replacement. And these three are talking about how legendary it would be to take her out. Vince putting her up. Kelly beating her in the blockbuster. Keanu stabbing her in the back so hard. And they're just like, this would be amazing. It'd be so great. So they're all getting pumped up about it. But let's not forget, it's also Lauren's birthday. And birthdays are magical in the Big Brother house. But Big Brother gave the house guests some alcohol, some party supplies, and everybody is enjoying the celebration. The have-nots were not allowed to drink the alcohol or anything like that, but they're still having fun. Everyone's sitting around the table. And I think it was Ava who was like, let's all say something nice about the person next to you. That's nice, right? So a little later, Ashley and Morgan are talking to Rachel in the storage room. And they let her know that Kelly is trying to start some drama right now. They say, when we were sitting at the table, Kelly said that you were mad when Vince was getting compliments. And she said it right to Vince, right in front of us. And she was all, did you see how Rachel was pouring more wine when you were getting your compliments? And Rachel's like, is that an effing joke? Like, what is this? She's trying to start drama right now about me pouring wine. So Rachel goes and checks in with Vince about Winegate. And she's like, yeah, I needed another glass of wine because I couldn't listen to these people giving fake compliments anymore. And she says, yeah, I also stole the White Claw because I didn't want Kelly to have it. But she says this didn't have anything to do with anything other than me being a petty bitch. She's owning it, right? But she says, Kelly is trying to create drama right now because she doesn't want Catherine to go up on the block. And she tells Vince, I'm on your side. Stick to the plan. Stick to the alliance. Don't listen to Kelly because she's a psycho. I mean, yeah. So also in this conversation, Vince brings up how he's heard Rachel say she either wants to leave before the jury starts or she wants to win. So he's asking Rachel, like, what's the deal? Like, do you want to potentially be on the jury? And Rachel's like, listen, I've been doing this stuff for 15 years. This is the 25th year of Big Brother. I want to be a part of this game. Even if I'm not winning, I want to be on that jury. I want to be picking the winner. And she says, I am, of course, going to vote for who I think played the best game. I don't care about who needs the money. I don't care about who I was friends with. She says, I am going to be voting for who played the best game. So she's really trying to make sure that's clear with Vince once and for all. But later, Morgan and Ashley continue to work on Vince. They know they need to go to bat for Rachel because things are looking dire right now. Also, oh wait, no, I just thought of something else, which we're gonna get to in a second. But from this conversation, they're like laying out the votes for Vince, and he's realizing the votes just would not be there to take out Rachel if she's on the block this week. And they're also telling him, I know you're worried about pissing people off by putting Catherine up, but the people that you would be pissing off have no choice but to continue working with you. Because, again, like they said about Keanu earlier, they don't have anyone else to work with. What are they going to do? Like, they have to work with you. They have to get over it. So that seems to really resonate. Maybe not that as much, but the vote situation really seems to resonate with Vince. It seems like maybe he's coming back around. He's thinking, you know what? I can't put up Rachel because it's not going to happen. So meanwhile, oh my God, Kelly is saying goodnight to people. She goes and gives Mickey a hug. And then she's going to go hug Rachel. And Rachel's like, it's okay. I don't need a hug. And Kelly's like, what did I do? And Rachel's like, I just didn't want a hug. I don't want a hug. Thank you. And Kelly's like, from me specifically? You don't want a hug from me? And Rachel's like, I just don't want a hug, Kelly. And Kelly's like, is it because I won't clean? Nobody cares about your damn cleaning strike, Kelly. You're not the only person in the house that cleans. But Rachel's like, yes, that's exactly why, because you won't clean. So Kelly says, okay, I don't think I've done anything wrong. Good night, Rachel. Hope you feel better tomorrow. So Kelly walks away, and Rachel is like, I'm entitled to not accept a hug. Seriously, though? These people need to stop thinking that they are just like guaranteed hugs from people. Stop asking people for hugs. If they don't want hugs, they don't have to give you a hug. It's so weird. But Rachel says, especially when Kelly is running around trying to push this Winegate bullshit, she's trying to put a target on me so that Vince will put me up. Yeah, that's exactly what she was doing. So Kelly goes up to the HOH room crying, which I'm pretty sure was fake crying because she has talked extensively about how she practiced crying, fake crying before she came in the house, and she's been using it. So she's telling Keanu, it's Rachel. She's so mean. I've never been talked to that way before. Oh my God. She says, I didn't even do anything. She's being so mean to me. And like, there was this other instance where she went over to the hammock where a bunch of people were hanging out. And Rachel said that I couldn't sit with them. And then it just got so much worse. She wouldn't give me a hug. So Kelly's going around the house looking for sympathy from everybody. Girl, you got caught. People are seeing through what you're doing. It's embarrassing. Like, it's cringe. So the rest of the night, also, when this is happening, Vince is in the diary room and he's got like 4 people waiting to talk to him. I mean, Kelly's waiting to talk to him. Keanu's trying to talk to him. I think like Morgan's trying to talk to him. Rachel wants to talk to him because she wants to get to him before Kelly. Like, so the rest of the night, Ashley lets Rachel know, Keanu ratted you out to Vince and he is considering putting you up on the block. She says it's 50-50 right now. And she's giving Rachel some tough love. She says, you can't blame him for wanting to put you up. You know better than to do that. You should not be giving Keanu that information. And Rachel's like, wow, I hate Keanu. She says, I don't know why I did that. I'm so sorry. Like, I messed up. I should not have done that. So Ashley says this is some newbie shit, and you're an OG. You're an amazing Big Brother player. You should not be messing up like that. And Rachel fully acknowledges like she done effed up. So Rachel says, I am done with Keanu. After that, and then the Kelly stuff with the Winegate, she would love for both of them to go. She's done with both of them. So also last night, everybody's trying to get their time in with Vince. And believe it or not, Mickey ends up getting in that HOH room with Vince. And she's like locking them in there. They're locking the door. Keanu's trying to get in. He's ringing the doorbell. They're just ignoring it. Damn, that's cold. She's basically talk blocking here. And I did not expect her to go to bat for Rachel the way that she did. She was also telling Vince, like, when the time comes, I would be willing to take the shot at Rachel. And again, this is something that he wants to hear. So it's all working. Also, like 4 a.m. last night, Keanu is still trying to talk to Vince. He like climbs into Vince's HOH bed, and Vince had enough. Like he didn't want to be doing this. So after Keanu eventually leaves, Vince is complaining about Keanu putting his swamp ass, his words, in his HOH bed. He's had enough. He has had enough. Damn, he really does not like specifically Keanu all sweaty and like dirty feet getting in his HOH bed. He does not like that. So, yeah, today Vince was still waffling on his decision. And this is, again, my opinion. Just the fact that he has so openly been back and forth on this, that's enough to piss everyone off no matter what he decides to do. Because even if he doesn't put Rachel up, she knows he was like this close to doing it. Even if he doesn't put Catherine up, she knows he was this close to doing it. So he's just making an enemy of everybody by being so wishy-washy about it. It's the exact same issue that people are having with Lauren at this point. So they did end up having the power of veto ceremony today. Mickey used the veto on herself, of course. I also forgot to mention at one point, Kelly was like, we should try to convince Mickey to use the veto on Ava and pretend like Keanu's going to go up, but then it's really going to be Rachel. But Mickey used the veto on herself, and Vince put up Catherine in her place. Oh my God! So we have Kelly versus Ava versus Catherine up on the block. He has decided to stick with the judges for now. Okay, here's the thing. So I do think that this was actually the right call in this moment for Vince, because again, him voting for Riley to go, voting with the judges this past week, you got to follow that up by sticking with them because you've already turned your back on that other side. Do I think that he should be working with Rachel like this moving forward? Probably not. I think, again, Vince's mistake was with the Riley vote. If he was going to go after Rachel, he should have done it last week by keeping Riley around. But the fact that he voted Riley out, he voted with the judges, I think it was the right call for him to not put Rachel up and to stick with the group. But like, he was so messy throughout this whole process and so wishy-washy. That was a disaster. That was really, really bad. So anyway, Catherine, she seems to be taking it as well as she possibly could from what I've seen. She says she knew she was in trouble. Vince was being weird the night before. He only talked to her for like 2 minutes this morning. He was giving a lot more priority to other people. And it seemed like his mind was already made up. I will also say Catherine made very little effort. I mean, she did talk to him a few times, but very little effort compared to the other people. Very little effort to stay off the block. Also from today, after the ceremony, Rachel is icing Keanu out hardcore. Good for her, right? Why not? I mean, she knows that he tattled on her, so why not? But Keanu's like, I don't know why you're acting like that. And Rachel's like, I don't want to talk to you. Turn around, make your little eggs, and leave me alone. She also zinged him for like not helping up with cleaning around the house and all that. She's not dealing with him right now. But a little bit later, Vince is trying to explain himself to Keanu in the gym. He's trying to explain why he put up Catherine instead of Rachel or Ashley. And he says this looking at everything, it really seemed like this would be the safer move. We're essentially making a sacrifice here, right? By like offering up either Catherine or Kelly. And in turn, like hopefully we're not going to be targets for the other group. Who are they going to target? But Keanu is not happy. He is not accepting this explanation. Keanu says, you have now burned me, Kelly, and Lauren 3 times. And Vince is like, did I burn Lauren 3 times? And Keanu's like, oh, what? So like the other 2 don't matter? You only care about burning Lauren? So Keanu says there are other things that you could have done if you didn't want to put up Rachel, and we still would have had our numbers intact. You could have put up Will. This is what he was pushing last night. And he's saying, like, you could have put up Will. Our people would still be good. We wouldn't lose anybody. You would piss off, like, the least amount of people without losing a number from our side. So Keanu's like, I'm just not buying your explanation. I feel like you're lying to me. You're taking advantage of my kindness. And he's like getting a little bit heated at this point. He's getting upset. He says, this is really starting to piss me off. I have given you a clear path to us getting to the final 6. I mean, this all goes back to Keanu and that final 6 alliance that he's been trying to get together, and it just kept falling apart. Vince voting for Riley to leave. Like, things are not going Keanu's way because he has a delusional view of how things are in this house. But Keanu brings up that Vince has said he has come here to build confidence, like in his real life as well. But he says, you are showing America that you're weak. And he says, stop effing lying to me. So Vince is like, I'm not lying to you, and I'm not taking advantage of your kindness. So Keanu's like, well, why is Rachel pissed at me then? I guess he didn't like that Rachel's icing him out. But he says, you know what? I don't care about Rachel, and that she thinks that she's like Big Brother's savior. Keanu says he is pissed that Vince prioritizes talking to everyone else over him. He had to wait around forever last night to talk to Vince. He was like, I was ringing your doorbell like 2-3 times. Nobody was saying everything. Nobody was like answering the door. I don't know if you guys didn't hear me. They heard. But yeah, he's really, really frustrated. And Keanu says, if you want confidence, he says, confidence starts with competence. Not that. I can't get over it. Oh, my husband's here. I do have like 8 pages of notes to go over, and I ran out of pages, so I had to write on the covers. But yeah, confidence starts with competence. So Keanu is going off on Vince. He is very frustrated about Vince not making a bigger move this week, or at least not protecting their own numbers. He says, we are shooting ourselves in the foot. And he says, 3 of our people now have gone home because of you. Oof! And he says, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings right now, but like, because of you. With like Adrian going, Riley going, and now either Kelly or Catherine going. These are all people that would have been numbers for us, that wouldn't have put us up on the block. And he tells Vince, you need to wake the F up. He says, I was trying to get you to wake up with the Adrian thing, and it didn't work. So like, oh, I'm a mess. But now you need to wake up. So Vince starts crying his eyes out. He's got the emo hood pulled up over the flat ironed hair. I feel like I'm about to start hearing My Chemical Romance playing. Like, it's wild. And he's just like, this is how I am in my real life too. I suck. I overthink. I'm timid. I'm afraid of everything in the world. And I come in this house and I'm like, I'm playing like some spineless effing weasel, and like I'm making all my friends' lives harder because like I'm doing stuff that's not good for their games. Yeah. So, I mean, it basically turns into a therapy session, but I'm wondering how much of this is legit and how much of this is Vince trying to get some sympathy out of Keanu. Vince is crying his eyes out. It's a lot. This conversation goes on for over an hour. Multiple people are coming in to check on them and make sure everything's good. Rachel comes in and she's like asking if everything's okay. She sees Vince crying and she's also wording like, Like, are you sure you're good? Ava comes in at one point. She's like, what's going on here? At one point, Morgan comes in and she's like, it's been an hour. She is waiting for her man to come back to the HOH room to talk. So yeah, at one point Keanu's even crying and he's like, we're bros for life, man. I'm not gonna turn against you. I'm not gonna turn my back on you. So it ends with hugs, high fives. I guess they're okay. It was all very dramatic. But again, it's what Rachel's side was telling him. Like, Keanu is gonna get over it, because what choice does he have? Keanu's still gonna work with you. All right, well, that brings us to the end. So that's where we're at right now. We've got a few days left until the eviction. Catherine, Kelly, and I can't even think anymore. Catherine, Kelly, and Ava are up on the block. One of them will be coming down with the Blockbuster competition. And I think at this point anyway, it looks like Ava's going to be fine no matter what. I don't see Ava going, unless something crazy happens. So it looks like in any situation, it will be Kelly or Catherine leaving. I believe that Kelly will be the primary target over Catherine, but we'll see what happens. You never know what's going to happen over the next few days. So I want to thank you all so much for being here. Thank you everybody who was here the entire time, especially. You're amazing. And I also want to give a huge shout out to all of our super chatters. Oh my goodness, you guys are awesome. Hold on. I'm dying. Okay. Jefferson Tucker, thank you so much as always. He says the Unexpendables are the new Chilltown. The more you know. I mean, they're like recent Chilltown, right? With like all the restraining orders. Yikes. Insert shooting star animation. Yes, the more you know. The Unexpendables were doomed from the start. I mean, if you're going to have an alliance with Keanu, Riley, and Vince, you're just looking for trouble. Thank you so much, Jefferson. William Dang, thank you so much. William says, I am rooting for Mother Rachel Giesling. Yeah. Rachel, Giesling, Kirby, Pirzina. Vince ends up pissing off both sides. Yeah, I mean, when you're that wishy-washy, no matter what you do, people know that you were heavily considering going against you. I'm waiting for his downfall soon with his constant complaining. The complaining is too much for me. That's where it gets really frustrating, besides the wishy-washiness. But the complaining about situations that he has put himself in, it's just too much. Like, you did this to yourself. That's what you get for playing the way that you're playing. It's like he's a constant victim of his own circumstances. But thank you again to William. Jessica, Noe, thank you so much. Jessica says, historically, I have not loved Rachel, but I'm loving her this season. I know. I love the spectacle of Rachel from the past and just like how wild and wacky she's been. But like this season, mad respect for how much she's changed up her game and adapted. I think she's doing phenomenal. And Jessica says, I cannot believe Vince didn't put her up. Yeah, they worked him. Thanks for the great recaps. Finally caught a live stream. Much love. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for the support. We really appreciate you. Connor Benson, thank you so much. Connor says, I've been waiting on this update. I hope you enjoyed it. We need to give Morgan and Ashley their 10s this week, as well as Rachel. Yeah, Rachel had the slip up with the giving info to Keanu when she shouldn't have, but Morgan, Ashley, they really picked her up, right? Even Mickey was doing her part. It was wild. Now here are my true thoughts. Whoever at this point of the game takes the shot undoubtedly gets a resume booster. Yeah, I mean, whoever is able to potentially take Rachel out, that's going to be a huge move, and they're going to get a ton of credit if they can get to the end. But I don't want Rachel to go. Connor also says, and don't get me wrong, I love Rachel and need her to make it far, but let's be real. The deeper she gets in this game, the harder it will be to take her out. Agreed. I mean, there's always a scenario that maybe she gets cut right at the end, but I do think that Rachel is going to have the advantage in these end game competitions. I mean, she knows how they work. Has anyone else even been studying the days? I don't know. But also, when she gets that close to the end, you know she's going to be ramping it up. Potential Ava or Will flip soon. So that's interesting. I do think that Ava would probably be more likely to flip than Will. Ava is getting closer with Lauren and Catherine. She is not part of the Judges Alliance, so she does not have that same level of protection that Will has. So I think if either of them were to flip, it would probably be Ava first. But I think it could happen at any point. You never know, especially this season. People are wilding out. Angela H, thank you so much. Angela says, this is the most insane week of Big Brother that I can remember in a long time. So much fun. It has been a lot of fun, but it's also been exhausting. But it has been fun. Agreed. Carrie, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. And I love the little sticker. Cole Davis, thank you so much. Cole says, hashtag justice for puppet theater, maybe even one a season. Oh, Cole, I'm so happy that you enjoy puppet theater. But I just feel like puppet theater is, while it was a lot of fun, I feel like it doesn't belong in 2025. I think there's a lot of stuff that we did in puppet theater that should not exist in this time period. So I think we're going to leave it in the past, but I'm really glad that you did enjoy it. Yeah, it was a crazy time. We had fun with it, but there's just a lot to it that I don't think works anymore. But thank you so much. Haley Milne, thank you so much. And shout out to Canada. Love the sticker. Cal the Pal, thank you so much for all of the super chats. And shout out to Canada again. Wow. Oh my God. So many in a row. Thank you so much. And you picked out excellent stickers. Alyssa Thomas, thank you so much. Alyssa says, thanks so much for making this season worth it. I'm going to watch Survivor for the first time after BB ends. Which season should I start with? Oh my God. That's a tough question. First of all, thank you so much for watching and for supporting the channel. And oh my God, I'm so excited for you to watch Survivor. Oh my God. Season to start with. Season 1? No. Probably, I mean, Second Chances is great. Heroes versus Villains. Incredible season. Definitely watch Heroes versus Villains. I mean, All Winners, amazing. Like, there's so many good ones. It's hard to pinpoint a few. I'm sure everybody in the chat has been giving you great recommendations. It's hard to think off the top of my head, but Heroes versus Villains, absolutely, 100%. Blood versus Water, I feel like I remember being really good. There's a lot out there. I mean, there's almost 50 seasons to pick from. You can't really go wrong. And thank you to Kenny D. We really appreciate you. Kenny says, orange glad to see Rachel survive a close call. I sure am. I'm really enjoying Rachel on this season. And shout out to Orange, Syracuse Orange. Love it. All right. I think you guys have heard enough of me flapping my lips today. I got to get out of here. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow for the next live stream. Can it get crazier? We're going to find out. So everybody have a great Monday night. I'll see you tomorrow. And until next time, much love. Bye, everybody. Bye. Have a good night.